Welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the only show by real fantasy football fans, for real fantasy football fans. I'm your host, 20-year fantasy veteran, and unfortunately, fan of the now, yet again, cutlerless Chicago Bears, Greg Reifsteck.
And I'm your co-host, Jenilee Borek, also a 10-year fantasy veteran, and I'm also a fan of the Bears, even though I'm not wearing any Bears gear. And together we are the beauty
And the beast
of fantasy football experts.
Well, you're the beauty. You don't have to be wearing these big, bulky jerseys all the time.
Well, I wore it like 2 weeks in a row, so I had to switch it up a little bit.
Exactly. So, Bears lost this week to the Lions, and we all know why. It was kind of Trestman's worst coached game in his very short career with our team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there were just a lot of things during the game that I think he could have made some different calls on. One was the Forte run for the 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't run the ball well all day long, so why are you going to try it in that type of situation?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that was one that really bothered me. And then the other one that bothered me was the fact that we really needed that field goal that we didn't go for, and I believe it was the beginning of the second quarter. Those 3 points, that was the difference of the game. You know, three more points would have won the game for the Bears. And so I think he needs to learn that there's certain situations that, yes, you go for 4th and 1. You try it out, that Green Bay game, that was a gutsy call. But it was a point in the game that's what we needed to do, and it worked. But when you have an easy field goal and a very good kicker, you take the points. Take those 3 points. This is a division game you need to win. So I was very disappointed in that. And then we turned it over on 4th down. Yeah,
always with the Lions, any divisional game, you need the points. And just rewinding back before I get to my pet peeve, that was a PlayStation run. Any of you guys that have played Madden on PlayStation, you have the guys set up for a run, you spread everybody out, and then you run up the gut. It works on PlayStation, Trestman. It does not work in real life. I love the article afterwards. The Lions are like, we knew that. I'm like, my grandmother knew we were running up the middle for crying out loud. But, I mean, the other problem with Trestman is he kept Cutler in way too long, knowing that he was injured, knowing that he was gimpy. You know, people were joking online, Cutler was holding his groin more than Michael Jackson. That was my favorite line.
I didn't hear that one.
It was good.
I do have to laugh.
Yeah. Hey, his groin, his ankle, whatever. I was the first one to say on our podcast, brought him back a little bit too early. Now we're without him again. Unfortunate for the team, we don't have him, but fortunately for me, I'm really happy, and I'll get into him in my Beast segment. I'm damn glad that we have McCown in. And I think with our line, I think we're going to do pretty damn well this week against the Ravens. Yeah,
he's been a great backup. And, that was the thing. It was once you saw in the second half, it was totally different Cutler in the second half than the first half.
Yeah.
And once you saw 1 or 2 series not being able to move the ball at all, that's when I think the decision should have been made to pull him. Instead, we went through 2 quarters with, I think, 4 or 5 different offensive drives that went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, there was a drive at about 7 minutes to go that if he would have put him in, and it was the drive before, the one that McCown took us flying down the field, we would have had 2 scores, we would have won. But hindsight is 20/20, and Trestman also learned finally the wrath of not only the Chicago fans, but of the Chicago sports press. Everyone asking him, so, you fucked up, right? You screwed up, right? Welcome to Chicago, Mark.
Well, welcome back to the NFL. I think these are just things that being back in the NFL and never having been a head coach in the NFL, unfortunately, these are, the growing pains in a sense and things he's going to have to learn. So
let's talk about some other games.
Absolutely. So let's get into, there's like 3 huge games, I think, that are going to be absolutely fun as crap to watch. Yeah. The first one is the Kansas City-Denver game. I think that one is going to be a great matchup. And I want to bring up Peyton Manning because of the fact that he's gimpy with those ankles that have been bothering him.
Right.
And what's your opinion on this? Do you play him against Kansas City's extremely tough defense and risk him getting hurt more? Or do you sit him this game so that he'll be there for others and risk maybe losing the game? But I don't know. It's an interesting question.
I'm going to be a total guy here and bring up the Rocky syndrome. Even if Rocky Balboa is like dead man walking, it's the main event of the week. There is no way. I mean, the NFL is practically going to call. I mean, they already are without their coach, John Fox. They already have Jack Del Rio in their coaching. You need to have the main event. You want your star in there. And it's Peyton Manning. And he played pretty well last week, even though he was gimpy. Roll the dice. Roll the dice again, for crying out loud. I think you have to have him in. And I think we're each going to pick some players that we think are going to have a fantasy impact. He's going to throw to Wes Welker a lot. And because he's injured, he's going to be going to the guy that's running the short routes, running the underneath routes. That's Wes Welker. I know there was a lot of, Demaryius Thomas last week and a little bit of a Decker. And against San Diego, Welker didn't get a lot of looks, but he's going to get a lot of looks, especially against a really, really hardcore, solid, tough Kansas City D.
Yeah, that defense is absolutely fierce, and that's why I brought up the Peyton Manning thing because it is a toss-up because if he gets hit a few times, he's not a mobile quarterback so he can't typically escape pressure. With him being gimpy, he can escape pressure even less. Right. And so to me, if they're hitting him 2 or 3 good times in the game, you are risking injuring him to the point that he might be out 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line. And do you want to do that? Or do you risk the loss because it doesn't really mean a lot to them, even though it's a division game. But they've been doing so well this season. But I don't know. It's just an interesting thing.
Good point. You don't want to end up with Aaron Rodgers disease.
Right.
Which is a whole deal in Green Bay that PROST, whoa.
I know they're not going to sit him, but I just had to bring it up as a scenario type of thing.
Oh, no.
So the person I took from this game is Jamal Charles of Kansas City, and he's just been a beast all year. I have him on one of my leagues, and they do everything with him. I mean, they run him, they throw him the ball because Alex Smith does not get it down the field very often, and he is just on the field the entire game. They're coming off of a bye, so he should be well rested and ready. And Denver's defense hasn't been as good as they were last year either.
Definitely.
So I think the guy that you absolutely, I don't know why you'd sit him anyways, but Jamal is going to have another solid game.
Oh, yeah, especially against, we've seen how vulnerable the Denver defense can be against the run in many, many games. So that's going to be the late game on Sunday. One of the afternoon games is the Niners and Saints. And you have Drew Brees versus Kaepernick. Kaepernick was in a really low-scoring game last week, and it was a lot of fisticuffs last week. So, but I'm saying in that game you go with Frank Gore because even though it was against a hardcore defense like the Saints, he still put up 82 yards, which is pretty damn good against a hard defense. He's gotten good points against other good defenses, just like he's going to be playing against this week. 101 yards against Arizona in Week 6, 153 yards and a touchdown against the Rams, who are no slouches either in Week 4. So when they're not using Kaepernick, as they, of course, haven't been except for 1 or 2 games with the read option, they're going to Gore, and you're going to get some points in this game.
Yeah, and I like that pick. I have him. He's in one of my leagues, and I always have him in as my flex. I mean, he's always solid. It seems like for at least 10 points, usually more. Usually you can get a good 10 to 15 points from him. So I think that he's going to have a good game. My pick for that game is Darren Sproles. And, the Saints play completely differently at home than they do away. So this is a home game for them. That's typically when they put up more points, they have more difficulty playing away. And Sproles got 2 touchdowns last week. He got a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown So I just think that he's the guy that if Breeze does feel some pressure and gets in trouble from that San Francisco defense, or if they're covering the receivers down the field, he's just going to dump it off to Sproles and really lean on him. Another good thing is Sproles got rest at the end of the last game because it was such a blowout. They blew the Cowboys out of the dome.
Yeah.
So, it's another thing is he got a little extra rest. He didn't have to play that whole game, but he is just Breeze's security blanket, and he does everything as well. So
love that pick, Jenilee, because Sproles happens to be my flex on two teams. Great minds think alike in the flex position, and he wasn't even supposed to possibly play last week. I mean, he's been injured. He comes in, just balls out. So
I needed him too, so I was happy.
Same here. I was like, oh God, I gotta go find Mike Tolbert off the waiver wire or something. Nope, we got to use him. So game number 3 is the one on Monday night, the Patriots versus the Cardinals. Tom Brady up against Cam Newton in a really, really solid, hardcore Carolina D. And tell us who you went with.
I am excited for this game. I am picking basically anyone that's running the ball for Carolina, whether that's Cam, whether that is D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, Mike Tolbert gets some touches. I know it's annoying fantasy-wise because it's 3 guys and they're really trading them off and you never know who's going to get the points. But I just think that Carolina's running game is going to be very solid. New England is 30th versus the run. So they are not doing very good versus the run. And I think that because Carolina's defense is so good, when their offense is on the field, they're going to want to chew that clock a little bit.
Definitely.
You want to keep Tom Brady off the field. So I just think that, anyone running the ball is going to get some yards, some points. We just maybe don't know who it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina passing game has not been stellar, and that's how they've been making their points, has been pounding and pounding the ball. And yes, it's the dirtiest word in fantasy football, running back by committee. Yeah. But you got to gamble. And you got to, if you have one of the 3, I mean, Stewart is, as we know, the weakest link of that group.
Yeah.
But
and he just came back.
Right. Tolbert is your, handcuff on the goal line, and D'Angelo's running up and down the field.
Yeah, he's been decent, and Cam might even run one in.
Yeah, Cam is running multiple ones in a few games. Yeah. So mine is Danny Amendola if he stays healthy the entire game.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, he's been healthy for 2 games. Last week he 4 receptions for 122 yards, a 30-yard average. Huge. And that was against, it was against Pittsburgh. And, I mean, just like Welker, this guy loves running routes underneath. He likes running unorthodox routes. That's why they tried to bring him in the Welker spot. And we all know how the Darth Vader, Belichick, as I, like to call him.
With the hoodie.
Yes, with the hoodie. I am going to put you in a place on my team, and you're going to do the same thing every week as I tell you. That's how he runs it.
And it works.
It works. I mean, AJ can attest to it. That's why she loves the team, It's cogs in a machine, and he has the same machine every week. And as long as you're one of the cogs and you work, I like Amendola as the cog this week. I think, as we know, Gronk does well also, but I just think Amendola is going to, I predict is going to do well this week.
Yeah, I'm excited for that matchup. Carolina's defense has been playing amazing. So, you're getting the Tom Brady offense against a great defense. Should be a good matchup.
3 wild games to end the week, and we have to watch the Bears at the beginning of it against the Ravens. We're going to be pooped by next week.
I know. Hopefully we can pull out a win.
Yes.
We need it.
Yes, so we're in week 11, and we're going to go into our beasts, into our real men. This week, just a little bit of a preview, we are going to be giving you a lot of backups because that's what's playing right now, unfortunately, all around the league. Green Bay and Chicago, and the list goes on and on and on. Tampa Bay, the list goes on and on and on.
And you know, the obvious players you're always going to start.
Right.
So it's like, you know, why are we going to sit here and just talk about, you know, the Tom Brady's and the Megatrons and the, you know, we talk about them some, but
we do.
You know, we want to get some secret players.
This is big balls. You got to have balls to make these picks. So, Jenilee, you ready?
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I need a real man. Have you seen him?
Welcome to my Real Man segment. We are in week 11 of the NFL already. And last week, a couple of my picks for everyone got banged up. Jake Locker went down. Mike James went down. I had him. That was a little disappointing. But if you listen to me on Arizona's defense, you got points from them. So I gave you a good pick on that one. So my first pick for this week is wide receiver Andre Johnson. Keenum is showing that he likes to throw the ball down the field, and he's making Andre Johnson look like the young Andre Johnson that we have not seen in a while. In fact, in the past 2 weeks, Andre Johnson has 5 touchdowns. Yep, 5 touchdowns. I will absolutely take that. He shredded the Colts for 229 yards. Now, the Texans have a tasty matchup this week. They are playing the Raiders at home, and the Raiders are giving up an average of 246 passing yards per game, and they've given up 18 touchdowns through the air. So what do you think is going to happen in this game? Keenum's going to tell Johnson to go long. I'm going to put the ball up. You go get it, and he's going to get a couple touchdowns, I think, this week. And the Texans are going to throw the ball a lot because Oakland is better at stopping the run. They're actually 7th versus the run in the league. And Ben Tate is still playing with cracked ribs. I don't think their running game is going to get them a lot this week, so it's going to be up to Keenum. They need a win at home. He's going to put it up, and Johnson's going to go and get it. So that's my first real man. Now, my second real man is quarterback Mike Glennon of Tampa Bay. Hang in with me on this one. He's a pick for deeper leagues, a little bit more than your standard 8-person or 10-person league. But if you're in a deep league, he has a good matchup. Again, it's about the matchups. He's playing Atlanta this week at home. Now, the last time he played Atlanta, he had 256 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So I will take that for a quarterback. I think he can get you at least 20 points against Atlanta. They're playing at home, and they're coming off of their first win. So Tampa Bay's all excited. I know that they were excited that this Miami drama happened because now their coach isn't in the news and they're not in the news. Miami is instead. I think that's part of what got them the win is they were able to focus. So they're playing at home in a divisional matchup. And the Bucs are down to their 3rd and 4th string running backs. So I think it's going to be up to Glennon. He's going to have to do some stuff through the air to get them this win. And Atlanta ranks 25th in passing defense. They only have 6 interceptions on the season. Glennon hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions. I know he had 1 last week, but he's been pretty good at protecting the ball. So you can get him in your lineup. I think, again, this is a great matchup. Atlanta has pretty much just given up on their season. Did you see them play the Seahawks last week? It was absolutely horrific. So I think this is a game that Tampa Bay might be able to win 2 in a row, and it's a divisional matchup, but he is a good quarterback in deep leagues if you need one. And my third real man this week is wide receiver Leonard Hankerson of the Redskins. I know he's a name you don't hear a lot. Again, this is a little bit more for deeper leagues or if you need to replace an injured player. But they're playing the Eagles this week. They're playing in Philadelphia. And the Eagles give up a lot of yards through the air. They're ranked 31st against the pass, and they're actually giving up an average of 48 fantasy points to wide receivers per week. So I think the Eagles are going to be concentrating on defending Garcon, stopping Alfred Morris, and the run game, and they're actually pretty good against tight ends, which might take Reed out of it a little bit. So I like Hankerson a lot because I think that he's going to get some very good one-on-one coverage when they're doubling up Pierre Garcon. I think he's going to be able to get open. even though he's playing with a little bit of a hammy, I still think he's going to get some fantasy points. He went 5 of 6 in week 9 and 5 of 5 in week 10. So right there, he's showing that when he's getting the ball coming his way, he's getting the opportunity, he's catching it, which is always a great thing. He doesn't have the dropsies like we like to say. And the Eagles are 4th in offense. They are getting 25 points per game. Neither defense is playing good. The Redskins defense is pretty bad. The Eagles defense is pretty bad. So this game might end up being a shootout. Foles is showing that he's doing stuff on his side of the ball offensively. So I think that Hankerson can definitely get some points. He might even get in the end zone. Get him in your lineup if you need him. I think it's going to be a fun divisional matchup. So those are my 3 real men this week. And Greg has beast mode picks that are, again, going to help you all out. If you are having any bye week issues, there's 2 teams on a bye. And just if you need some replacements, everyone's injured, so it's tough. We're getting down the stretch. Let's kick it to Greg.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Balls Fantasy Football. It's Greg the Beast with 3 picks that are so tough this week they might actually stay alive in your lineup. The first guy I have for you is Josh McCown. Now I know what you're saying. Wow, that's just like taking Seneca Wallace of the Packers last week. What the hell is he going to do for me? He's a backup. Or any of the other backups? Well, in Bears land, we all know he is the only quarterback that our offensive line is actually keeping alive. Did you see the Lions game last week? Cutler was running around still, even after he had one good drive in the beginning, and then that's why he got re-injured. He had the groin injury. They brought him back too quick, and for some reason, the line isn't blocking for him. When McCown comes in, it's like the parting of the Red Sea. All of a sudden, we have a pocket, and McCown gets the job done. Green Bay, here were the results for crying out loud in our big Monday Night Football victory. Let's remind you, 22 makes out of 41 attempts, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. Awesome fantasy week. Some people played him. Some people got some really good points off of that. Against Washington, replacing Cutler in the game he first got injured in and hurt his groin in, 14 out of 20, 1 touchdown. Hey, still, for goodness sake, of course you didn't play him. You had Cutler in, but he's putting up good stats. And I know the other thing you're going to say, Greg, for crying out loud, it's the Ravens defense. You know what? We used to be able to say the Bears defense. Neither defense is the defense they used to be. Urlacher's gone. Briggs is gone. Peanut is now out, on IR, possibly going to come back for the playoffs. And then on the other side of the ball, you don't have Reed. You don't have Ray Lewis, you don't have the defense you used to have either. So a lot of people are saying this is going to be an NFL network. This is going to be a big defensive struggle. I don't think so. My prediction is you're going to get a lot of points out of both quarterbacks, even Flacco. But don't play Flacco. Play McCown. That's my first beast. My second pick this week, my second beast, is T.Y. Hilton, wide receiver on the Colts. This guy has come in and been a super stud, Reggie Wayne out of the game. Young guy, gets a lot of looks, has been making a lot of catches. Caught 7 for 130 yards, 1 big, long 40-yard pass up against the Rams this week. I know the Rams went off, but T.Y. was getting it done, in hiding with Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck throwing to him only 7 times, but getting a lot of results on every catch. This week, he's playing the Titans. Jake Locker is out. So the Titans right now are, again, in kind of a strange situation. Their backup quarterback is good, but it isn't Jake Locker. And for crying out loud, Hilton has just been getting it done. Versus Houston, he ended up getting 7 receptions, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns weeks ago. He's just been on a streak. There's no way you can't play him, especially with Reggie Wayne out. Put him in. My third beast for you this week is Riley Cooper, wide receiver of the Eagles. Went off last week against the Packers. Check this out. 3 receptions, 102 yards. Holy crap. This week, he's playing against the lowly Redskins. The Redskins have such a bad defense, they made the Vikings look good last Thursday. Watch the game in full. Holy cow. When you let Christian Ponder get points, whoa. And of course, they didn't stop AP. So they are going to let Cooper just run all over the place. And the bonus is Nick Foles is, of course, in. And anytime Nick Foles is in, that's when Cooper balls out. He hasn't really gotten a lot of points when Vic's been in. And it looks like finally, Chip Kelly is going to stick with Foles, likes the offense that he's running. He's actually getting some points with them. So you're going to get the benefit from Cooper after a lot of people said he was going to be a flash in the pan. Last time Foles was in, he went 5 for 139 yards, 3 touchdowns versus Oakland. Hey, that's points for crying out loud. Got to put him in. Again, he's just a guy that had a little bit of trouble at the beginning of the season, racial slur, made his amends, apologized. Now he's showing that he has integrity, and he's balling out on the field. So next, we are going to go down to the VFW in Santee, just outside of San Diego. It's PROST, Salute to the Troops, where he is going to hang out, actually along with me, because I cruised my ass on down there because I heard the drinking and the fun was going to be great. We watched games all day. You're going to see some awesome footage. PROST talked to some veterans. I talked to some veterans. And you're going to meet a Super Bears fan called Ron. That's all I'm going to say as our build-up. Let's go to the footage. Hey everybody, Big Balls Fantasy Football here down in Santee, outside of San Diego. We are here to watch the Bears and the Lions, but we're also here to watch PROST, his Packers, take on the Eagles today. It's going to be an interesting game, but today what we're going to do also is we're saluting the troops today at the VFW here in Santee. Let's go on in. So here's what happens when you lose a bet. Here's what happens when Aaron Rodgers goes down. You got to do this. Oh, look at that beautiful Packer jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Get your phone.
The Cutler. Get him.
Oh, that looks so good on you.
I'm not playing one of those ever again. I'm not doing that ever again. That was just dumb.
The witnesses here. All right, here we are here at the SANTEE VFW Big Balls Fantasy Football. Give us your name and what you've done for our fine country.
Oh, I'm Ron. I was in the Navy for 20 years, retired, and it was my proud honor to serve this country.
Awesome, awesome. So we're down here saluting the troops here for Veterans Day. And tell us who you have playing in your lineup this week as far as the Bears are concerned.
Oh, the Bears. Actually, I don't have any Bears players playing in my lineup this week, but I do have the Bears defense on my bench, and everyone knows why we have the Bears defense on our bench this week. So until they get healthier, maybe I'll start them again, but I'm going to hold on to them. I can wait a few more games.
I've already dumped them in 2 of my leagues.
Have
You're a
you
better
really?
man than me. You're a much better man than me.
I got a little hope. Hope.
So who's been going off in your lineup today
Oh,
so
you know,
far? We're at halftime, by the way, of the Lions-Bears game. It's 7-7. How about a scoring prediction? What do you think we're gonna
I think,
pull this thing off?
It's going to be, I'm thinking 28-21 Bears.
Ooh, I like that. I like
21-28
that.
Bears.
As long as it's a win. As long as it's a win, I'm off for that.
Yeah, and you know why? Because Stafford and the Lions are notorious for coming back last minute.
Yeah, I know, and especially with our defense the way it's been, that's the way it's been going. So who's been going off in your lineup today?
Oh, you know who's going off today? Zach Stacy from the Rams.
Yes. I
Zach
played as well.
Stacy. Zach Stacy's going off right now.
How many points you got out of him so far?
I've got 9 so far.
Okay.
And right now, the other guy is Oakland defense. They're racking up me some points today right now.
Nice.
And you know what? It was a safe start since they're playing the Giants this week.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of a lock. In closing, so where from Chicago are you?
I'm originally from Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Schaumburg area.
Out there near Woodfield.
Yes,
We all like shopping at Woodfield. That's actually where I bought this shirt at
Did
Woodfield
you really?
when I went back.
Nice.
Bought some pepper, J.C. Penney at the.
Oh, yeah.
Got a little bit of peppers. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, thanks for talking to us here, man.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Greg.
Go Bears. Go Bears.
Big Balls Fantasy Football is CJ. You're on our team as well. What, how do you serve for us?
I served the Marine Corps for 4 years. Just doing my little part.
Excellent. And we're going head-to-head twice today. It's your Eagles and my Packers, and we're playing each other in fantasy. How's your day going so far?
Well, so far I'm doing pretty good in real football. Fantasy, you got 3 yet to play. I've got 5 yet to play. So therefore, I like my chances.
It's 52-28, and so you like beating up on the practice squad quarterback the Packers put in?
Hey, a win's a win. At the end, it's scoreboard. And that hasn't been determined yet. So you may have a chance.
And there you have it. Thanks for your time, CJ.
All right.
Hey, Big Balls Fantasy Football here at the VFW, supporting our troops. We have the recap. My Bears lost. Your
My Packers lost.
It wasn't a good goddamn day. The Lions are leading our damn division. I know Jenilee's not happy about that either. You're not happy about it.
You know, I got to tell you, they gave Seneca Wallace all his trips to play a better game. First quarter he's done, in comes Scott Tolzien. Who? He's the quarterback for the Badgers. They sent him off the practice squad to come out to be a real player. And actually didn't do too bad. He got 208 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
He threw 2 picks, but they were tip balls. So it's like he didn't throw a bad game. He did better than Seneca Wallace would have.
Right. And then, of course, we left Cutler in too damn long, and now we got his ankle hurt on top of whatever he was limping around on his groin with, or he was limping on his ankle or whatever. But we had McCown come in at the end and almost win the damn thing for us. But fantasy-wise, you had B. Marsh get 2 touchdowns. I mean, Cutler didn't do bad fantasy-wise, but B. Marsh was the champ of the game, and I know Jenilee's thrilled about that because she has him on a team. Alshon Jeffrey did good for me, too. He got a bunch of yards, almost a buck. How about on the Packers side in that other game?
Philly shut down Eddie Lacy. He got 73 hard-earned yards. Not much for you for fantasy. You never saw the end zone. Jordy Nelson, fan, he thought he would go off. I thought he'd go off. Turns out that Boykin got it. And I'd like to say Boykin was running with Tolzien, but Tolzien wasn't with the team. He was just the open man, and I guess they must have doubled up on Jordy, left Boykin open. He got 111 yards, but he didn't find the end zone either. So rough day to be a Packer fan.
Yep. Rough day to be a Bear fan, too. Megatron, 2 touchdowns. You know, oh my God. And, I mean, Nick Foles gets how many touchdowns this week, for crying out loud?
I want to say he got 3.
He got 3. Riley Cooper got 2. I got Riley Cooper on 2 of my teams. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid on him. He's had 3 hot weeks out of 4. I'll stick with him. But we're about to go in and watch the Broncos.
And the Chargers.
And the Chargers.
In a very heavily, of course, we're in San Diego, so you got a big home crowd here for the game.
Yep.
Stay tuned. We got more for you on Big Balls Fantasy Football.
That's right.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know this is Sharon Brayton. This is Keith Van Horn's hand. If you are a Bears fan, you know who Keith Van Horn is. He was one of our offensive linemen, one of our great offensive linemen, by the way. And this is his hand.
Yummy, 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 happy drunk bear. Yes.
Yes.
We need it today.
We need it today because the Bears lost. And unfortunately, our defense could not hold it. But, you know, well, that's how football goes on Sundays.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Any given.
I'm going to start out. Ed Hockley's Hate Club. today.
No, I don't want a hate club.
Why?
Stupidity club is
no,
better.
it's gotta be a hate club because he knows his shit. But he does make some calls that really change the game.
He's a Super Bowl experienced referee.
Yeah,
He's the top referees in the league. But his crews make some dumb arse mistakes.
Oh God!
I
I tried to trade Commander some players, but he would not do it just because he has integrity. This Commander has integrity.
This is me going back to Bears fans.
This is the commander of the VFW post. Thank you for having us.
Go Cowboys.
Yes.
Bartender on this fine day.
Yeah.
How are the Chargers doing?
They're sucking right now, dude. But here at the fourth quarter, that's when they're going to take it all the way to the 1 yard line and go through it.
What's the score?
It's like 7-21 or something like that. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention.
How is it working in the BFW with all this diverse group? It's not all Charger fans. You got people from all over, all these transplants in here, all these veterans who live in San Diego. Is this not the best place to enjoy Sunday football?
It's crazy because there's like, you can have it on any TV screen and people are happy. They're like, oh, that's my game. I'm like, who the fuck likes Cincinnati? But, hey, man, there's a team for everybody out here.
What's the most popular drink here?
Beer.
What kind?
Strong beer.
Manzanita
Riverwalk
the
is pretty
local
good.
Santee Manzanita. And we've got the Golden
Monkey.
Yeah, Victory Golden Monkey.
Victory Golden Monkey.
Victory Brewing Company.
Victory Golden Monkey needs to sponsor Big Balls Fantasy.
There she comes.
There he comes.
All right. He's wearing half of it.
No, I'm not.
Wait a minute.
There you
I
are.
don't want to catch on fire here.
Make a toast.
Lay down.
Hold on.
Big Balls Fantasy Football.
Eagles! Go Eagles!
Go Bears. Go Bears.
Chargers.
Chicago
Bears all the way.
There you go,
To the
Greg.
post.
Thank you,
To the
Greg.
post.
To the post.
Hell yeah.
That's double post, right? That's double
Saw
post.
that bullshit.
That'd be a video.
On a fucking birthday. I saw that shit.
So, oh my God, what a great time I had down there in Santee. That was crazy ass. We had such a blast, as you can see at the end. I mean, we were drinking this beer that was nicknamed the Monkey because, and if you want to find out the real story behind the Monkey, listen to the podcast. We have a great soundbite of Neil explaining why it's called the Divorce Maker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
9% alcohol, and they only allow 1 pitcher per person to be ordered. But of course, that gets really sketchy because then each person orders a pitcher and shares it with everybody else.
Of course.
But I mean, I want to thank everybody there at the VFW in Santee. I had a wonderful time. The hospitality was great. I was welcomed with open arms, and we drank a lot. We watched a lot of football. These people are true football fans, especially Ron, our fellow Bears fan. He is a Big Balls Fantasy Football super fan. That's right, Ron. He's actually thinking of coming up to join PROST up here for the game on the 30th of December. And he's going to come to the Tin Horn.
Nice.
So we're going to welcome Ron to the Tin Horn. Ron, come up. You got to come up. You can see on tape he's a natural.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looked fun. I got a chance to see all the footage even though I wasn't there. And it looked like you guys were having a blast. It looked like a great crowd of people. Everyone just getting along and having some, good football fun. So that's for sure awesome. And he needs to bring me a sample of that beer next time. So come on, let's get on him about that. And as you can see, we are doing like a veterans episode. I'm wearing my camouflage. You can see any of it. To support the troops. And we just had Veterans Day Monday. So we are very, very thankful here at Big Balls for all the veterans and everyone who serves so that we can have our freedom and do stuff like this for you guys.
And watch football in a free country.
Yes. So don't forget to go to our official website, bigballsfantasyfootball.com. Of course, we always call it the hub because that's where you can go and find ways to follow us on any of our other social media sites. like our Twitter. You want to throw out our Twitter?
Twitter at Big Balls F Ball. We answer tweets, ask us questions. We'll get to them as soon as we can, except when we're on the road. We got a few tweets during the Bears game, and we had a complaint. I said, we're at the Bears game, at the actual Bears game. You can also find us, of course, at our Facebook page, facebook.com/BigBallsFootball. And, of course, we're everywhere else on Pinterest, on Tumblr. I want to actually give a shout-out, because I know they watch, to Her Fantasy Football, another up-and-coming fantasy football show. And you'd love this. You're always saying, where are the ladies? I mean, all girls.
It's all ladies, right?
It's all girls. They're just getting started. They have all kinds of analysis, and I know they watch and they listen to us. And speaking of which, next week, for week 12, I'm going to be in Vegas for part of the week. So we're going to do our intro. And
He's leaving me here again.
But we're going to have the ladies, and we're going to be, strangely enough, have most of the ladies at the Man Cave, a new bar in Studio City. And we're going to watch at least 2 out of the 3 games. We are not going to sleep over the Monday game. I'm sorry.
No. I think that would be a bad idea. But we're going to have fun. I think we're going to have some great footage from there. So it's going to be awesome as always.
Yes.
So again, follow us, hit us up. We want to hear from you guys. We try our best to post everything as soon as it happens and get the word out. So stay with us.
All righty. Have a good night.
Good night.